Welcome into the 49ers Report postgame show right here on Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. When you thought that this season couldn't get any uglier, any worse, it did with an absolutely disastrous loss against the Arizona Cardinals at home at Levi Stadium by a final score of 31-17. You thought, okay, Kyler Murray not playing, DeAndre Hopkins not playing, a golden opportunity for San Francisco to string together two consecutive wins, first against the Chicago Bears, then against an undermanned Cardinals team to get the season back on track. Instead, you're looking at a 49ers team that is now sitting at 3-5, teetering on disaster, having an awful 2021 campaign. Colt McCoy ends up leading the Cardinals to a 14-point victory. And honestly, this 31-17 final didn't even seem this close. He carved this 49ers defense up over and over again, finishing the day 22 of 36 for 249 yards and a touchdown. James Conner, on the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't even want this guy on the roster any longer. He moves forward with a career-high 3 touchdowns. 2 through the ground, 1 through the air. Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore continuing to carve this defense up as well. And Jimmy Garoppolo's final stat line at the end of the day looks pretty solid. 28 of 40, 326 yards, a touchdown, that interception coming in garbage time. But this offense with him is so limited, and really the big story of this matchup, a George Kittle fumble, a Brandon Aiyuk fumble, which flipped the momentum of this game and allowed the Cardinals to establish that momentum on the road to come through with a monster victory without their MVP candidate quarterback in Kyler Murray. So Niner gang, chime into the comment section right now and give me your one-word reaction to this loss for San Francisco today. Leave your one-word reactions in the comment section and sound off, let your feelings be known. My one-word reaction for this overall 49ers performance: offense, defense, special teams, coaching, a straight-up joke. I thought the Niners were going to have an opportunity to really turn this season around. You have the Cardinals undermanned coming into your home stadium, and then you have the Rams next week on Monday Night Football. Really a cool opportunity to salvage the season and put together a 3-game win streak, 2 against division rivals, 1 against the Chicago Bears, to really turn this ship around. You had suffered 4 losses in a row, and you didn't think it was going to get any uglier than that. Today's performance, much uglier than that. My biggest takeaways for today: the defense straight up sucked. They couldn't stop Colt McCoy through the air. They couldn't stop this Arizona Cardinals ground game at all. I thought Cliff Kingsbury flat out outcoached Kyle Shanahan. Colt McCoy going into this matchup was 8-22 in his career as a starting quarterback. And in a near must-win game, this 49ers defense makes them look like, I don't know, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. The 49ers defense against the Cardinals giving up 437 yards of total offense, 274 yards through the air, 163 yards on the ground as they were continually just gashed. The Cardinals and Colt McCoy, 8 of 17 on 3rd and 4th downs, and the 49ers defense giving up no turnovers. So they weren't able to force any turnovers against an Arizona Cardinals offense led again by Colt McCoy. This guy was a really good quarterback at Texas playing for the national championship. Once again, 8-22 as a starting quarterback throughout his career. There's a big reason why this guy is a backup, and today he looked like a Pro Bowler. DeMeco Ryans' hot seat? Maybe. This Niners defense was abysmal. McCoy's final stat line on the day: 22 of 26, 249 yards, a touchdown, 0 interceptions, and really, he came together with Coach Cliff Kingsbury to carve up the 49ers defense, and they had their number all throughout the day. Anytime DeMeco Ryans tried to draw up a blitz to maybe confuse Colt McCoy even a little bit, Cardinals had an answer. And that's a big reason why they are moving to 8-1 on the season, atop the NFC West, and one of the best teams across the entire National Football League. You know what's also embarrassing? The 49ers, over the last few years, have been an awful team at Levi Stadium. No home wins going back to Week 6 of 2020. That's inexcusable. That should be embarrassing for this franchise? And how do you think it makes the Niner gang feel that they think that they're paying their hard-earned money to support this team and provide a home field advantage, yet this team has been rendered inept inside the unfriendly confines of Levi Stadium? They got thrashed defensively, and as I mentioned, those turnovers just killed this squad. James Conner, a career day. The Steelers didn't want him for a reason. They thought that he was injury prone. He didn't have a lot of pop left in those legs. Chase Edmonds goes down in the first couple of plays of the game, and you're like, okay, no DeAndre Hopkins, no Kyler Murray. This Niners defense is going to be able to feast. Cardinals rely on James Conner to go off for 3 total touchdowns, 2 through the ground, 4.5 yards per pop. He rushes 21 times for 96 yards. And this 49ers defense didn't have an answer for him or anything that Cliff Kingsbury was trying to do offensively. Whether they were trotting out 4 wide receivers with 1 tight end, 5 wide receivers, going with 10 personnel, whatever the Cardinals wanted to do offensively, all throughout the afternoon, they were able to do it. 49ers offense against Arizona, they were really okay, but the 2 turnovers from Kittle looked good coming off that calf injury, but the turnover was awful. The fumble trying to leap over the defender, why? Brandon Aiyuk had a breakout game. That's a great sign moving forward, but his fumble was a backbreaker. And in total, 49ers offense able to put together a performance that included 337 total yards, 169 passing yards, but on the ground, less than 40. Sorry about that mistake there. 49ers less than 40 yards on the ground, I believe, because Elijah Mitchell really wasn't able to do much outside of a couple of carries. So, Niner gang, I know you're fed up. I know you're fired up, and you deserve to be, because going into the season, I thought they were going to be Super Bowl contenders. You thought they were going to be that, or maybe even just a playoff team. They look anything but that. And all they've been doing is beating bad teams. They beat the Lions. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Bears. They're all bad football teams. The Niners are in that category as well. Right now, they're a bad football team. Grade the 49ers performance for me today, A, B, C, D, or F. We'll tell you how you can get a free 49ers jersey coming up here in just a few moments. But first, today's show presented to you by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. You can get a 125% deposit bonus by going to chatsports.com/49bet. Enter the promo code Niners125. If you deposit $100 into your account, you get an additional $125 back. That's $225 to game with. And by doing that, we will send you a free 49ers jersey as long as you lay down a bet. Here are your steps. Chatsports.com/49bet. Enter the promo code Niners125. Sign up, deposit $100. You get that 125% deposit back. Lay down a bet, whatever you want. Then you email us, jersey@chatsports.com, letting us know that you followed all those steps. We'll send you a free 49ers jersey. Here are the jerseys available right now. Any color, any size. Nick Bosa, Trey Lance, George Kittle. Is it only a matter of time before we're about to see Trey Lance? Maybe it's a good time to buy stock into him and to buy his jersey. You can do so by following all of those steps. Speaking of the quarterback that's ahead of Trey Lance right now, that's Jimmy Garoppolo. I had to give him credit last week. He was really good and clutch against the Chicago Bears in front of his friends and family. Needed to come through, he came through. And after Kyle Shanahan got at him in his grill last week, he responded. And today, you look at the raw numbers, you're like, okay, Jimmy G, it wasn't his fault. 28 of 40, 326 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. But this offense is so limited with Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback. And opposing defenses seem like they always know what's coming when he is the quarterback. I mean, you got to see Jimmy Garoppolo play against this Cardinals defense with J.J. Watt. And you got to see Trey Lance play against this team. You got to see Jimmy G and Trey Lance, is what I'm trying to say, against this Cardinals defense. And I thought the Niners looked more explosive, less unpredictable against the Cardinals defense with Trey Lance as compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. So at what point, now that you're sitting at 3-5, you still have an opportunity to make the playoffs if you rally, do you start Trey Lance? Now, I thought it was interesting during our 49ers watch party, which we do during every game here on the channel. We put up a poll. Should Kyle Shanahan be on the hot seat, yes or no? Around 80% of the almost 1,000 votes said yes, Kyle Shanahan should be on the hot seat. And I see why. All this talk about him being an offensive wizard, he's been that at times. Last week against the Bears, you saw it. But these problematic blowout losses continue to be a problem. The penalties continue to be a problem. The turnovers are killer. This is an undisciplined team right now that plays sloppy football, and against elite competition, they don't come through, and they don't look like a well-coached, organized football team. Now, Kyle Shanahan is what now? 32-41 as a head coach in year 5 as the head coach of this franchise. A lot of coaches would be fired if they had that record in other markets this deep into their tenure. So while I've defended Kyle Shanahan, and I think he's still a good coach and will get a job if he does get fired as soon as he walks out of the building and has potential and has shown a lot of strengths in his past, there are a lot of weaknesses that are starting to pile up, and these ugly losses starting to pile up as well. When you're an owner of a franchise, you want results, you want wins, you want success, and in year 5, there has been one season of success under Kyle Shanahan as well as John Lynch. This is why you subscribe to the channel. Win or lose, we have you covered right here on the 49ers Report. Really the only positive that I'm taking away from this awful loss against the Arizona Cardinals, it's the play of Brandon Aiyuk. All this talk about him in training camp and at the start of the season being in the doghouse, all the numbers back that up. His snaps were down. His production was down. His targets were down. The GPS tracking on him was also down because his yards of separation was not the same that it was last year. This was Brandon Aiyuk's best game since last year. And I know he had that back-breaking fumble. It was really a product of the defender making a great play after he climbed the ladder to show up that athleticism, make the catch, went down to the ground, then the ball got punched out. But for him, special teams and on offense, to come through with 6 receptions on 8 targets, 89 yards, and a touchdown. That touchdown, by the way, contested grab in double coverage, able to snatch it away from the defender. That's a positive development for his confidence, but also for the 49ers offense moving forward into the future. Because we know Debo is legit. George Kittle looked good coming off that calf injury. If they get production from Brandon Aiyuk, it makes this offense just a little bit more dangerous, and they certainly need that because right now they're way too inconsistent and way too lackluster. So before I get out of here, really had to vent. Feels good for me to do it. Probably feels good for you as well. How many wins will the 49ers have this season? They're 3-5 right now, 8 games, 17-game schedule. We're at the halfway mark of the 2021 NFL campaign. How do you think the Niners finish this out? I had said prior to the year, 11 wins? It ain't going to be that. You let me know right now in the comment section.